Your business feels boring right now? Slow days, silent metrics, no applause. You post, you build, nothing pops. Most people quit here because they confuse quiet with failure. Don't. I'm going to give you a simple system to stay consistent, stay patient, and stay motivated when results are slow. It's the same structure I use with Expiration Reminder. In the early months, long stretches of content and product tweaks before anything moves. In a minute, I'll show you the moment a boring blog post finally converted. We'll use time blocks, a tight to-do list, a value filter, and 3 early metrics that actually matter. So let's set the foundation. The thing most people miss is that compounding needs quiet time. Early on, your signal is noisy. You can tell which blog post, which outreach message, which feature will hit. So you need volume and time, and neither of those are exciting in week 2. Busy isn't productive. Results lack inputs. That gap feels boring, and that's normal. Here's how to think about it. Boredom is your focus runway. It's the space where you can repeat the right inputs without emotional whiplash from every tiny metric wobble. In the first 90 days, measure inputs more than outcomes. Outputs will come later. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Consistency builds data, and data guides bets. No data, no decisions. So what do you actually do? Define one weekly output that you ship no matter what. For example, ship one article or run one focused outreach blog. Not work on marketing. Ship one thing that creates a clear breadcrumb trail you can read later. I like a 90-day boarding streak contract. It's simple. Commit to specific weekly outputs for 12 weeks. Sign it and treat it like a job. For Expiration Reminder, my early months look like this. Publish content every week, tweak small piece of the product, and keep improving the onboarding. It was a long stretch without traction. It felt like talking to an empty room, but those pieces created the data I needed. What headlines got clicks, what features got used, which emails got opened. Once I had that, I could make better bets. Now here's where most people mess up. They let mood decide the work. They wait for motivation, and motivation is unreliable. If you set the mindset but don't lock your calendar, life will crush your streak. So once the mental model is set, boring is normal, data needs time, you lock the calendar. You build a simple system that protects the streak from your mood and chaos. That's how you survive long enough for compounding to show up. Next, I'll show you the engine. Without structure, motivation decides output, and motivation swings. So we build a weekly cadence for 3 anchors: time blocks, a tight to-do list, and a value filter. First, time blocks. Pick fixed recurring slots and protect them like meetings with your best client. Batch similar tasks so your brain doesn't context switch. For example, Monday 7 to 9 a.m. research and outline. Wednesday 7 to 9 a.m. draft. Friday 7 to 8 a.m. publish and outreach. These blocks repeat every week, whether you feel great or not. If something breaks a block, you reschedule it within the same week. No skip blocks. Second, the to-do list. Keep it to 3 critical tasks per day. Break each task into 30-60 minute chunks. Write a blog post becomes outline H2s. Draft into the first section and examples, edit and publish. Smaller chunks reduce friction and get you visible win every time you finish one. The shortcut nobody teaches. Pre-commit the first task of your next session before you stop. Leave a note like start with adding the common mistakes section. You remove the cold start. On Wednesday, you sit down and you start typing. No warm-up needed. Third, the value filter. Ask, does this add value for users? If not, park it. Fancy logos, team tinkering, endless tool hopping, park it. Adding value means shipping something a user can read, try, click, or benefit from. When in doubt, choose the task that gets a user to their first win faster. Let me give you the input ladder I use. Monday, research, gather topics, keywords, question users are asking. Wednesday, draft, write a full piece, add samples tied to the product. Friday, publish the outreach, ship to the blog, post to 1 or 2 channels, and email a small list. It's boring, but it compounds. Micro story from Expiration Reminder. I created content every week not knowing if it could work. Traffic was tiny, trials were flat, but I stayed on the ladder. Then one day, I checked signups and a specific post started showing up as the referrer. That single piece tied to actual trials. It wasn't magic. It was the 9th or 10th rep finally landed. The reason it worked is the reps trained the messaging. The headline got sharper. The examples got clearer. That happens only when you ship consistently. So, common mistakes to avoid. Swapping blocks because the task feels hard, making lists too big so you never finish, and chasing novelty when you're bored. The guardrails are simple. No 0 days. If time is short, do the smallest shippable unit. One paragraph, one outreach email, one micro improvement in the product. Protect pre-committed blocks, and if you miss, bounce back in 24 hours. Resume, don't restart. Here's a simple weekly template you can copy today. 2 content sessions, 1 outreach session, 1 product improvement session. Daily 3, 1 ship, 1 learn, 1 improve. For example, ship a short post, learn by reviewing last week's metrics for 15 minutes, improve by triggering and tidying onboarding copy. Pre-commit the next first task before you close the laptop. Once this agent is running, you'll have stable inputs you can measure. Now we can channel your energy into the early metrics that actually show movement. Traffic to the site, number of trials, and product usage depth. That's where passion meets feedback. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that feelings lie. Early metrics tell you if you should be patient or you should tweak your inputs. So we focus on 3 early milestones: traffic to your site, number of trials, product usage depth. They are simple, visible, and they connect to growth. Traffic first. Track unique visitors and where they're coming from. Don't chase every channel. Pick 1 or 2 repeatable sources and run reps. For example, consistent blog posts plus a small newsletter share, or a single social platform plus SEO basics. You are asking, is my message pulling people in? If visitors tick up week by week, your top of the funnel inputs are working. Trials next. Track signups and activation rate. Define activated in plain language, something like created 1 project and invited 1 teammate, or uploaded 1 document and set a reminder. Keep it specific and tied to the first value. Activation shows your promise, matches what users expect after signup. Usage depth last. Coach 1 or 2 core actions per user and time to first value. If people hit the key action fast, your onboarding and copy are clear. If they stall, the promise is fuzzy or the steps are confusing. Don't measure everything. Choose the 1 behavior that makes your product sticky and track that weekly. Set up a weekly scoreboard. It's a simple sheet with 3 rows: traffic, trials, usage, action. On Friday, drop in the numbers. Green if a metric is up week over week. Red if it's flat or down 3 weeks in a row. This is your signal system. If traffic is flat 3 weeks, test new topics or new headlines, not a new business. If trials are flat, adjust your offer, landing page copy, or CTA. If usage is weak, tighten onboarding and reduce steps to first value. Here's the game changer. Most people skip. Change inputs before changing the idea. Iterate headlines, angles, offers, and onboarding. When I finally saw Expiration Reminder content convert, it was because a specific post used clearer language that reflected how users described their product. Same product, sharper messages, trials, moved. Tie this to your engine. Each week, choose 1 small input experiment. A new headline, a different CTA button, a tighter first email. Run it for a week. Measure and keep what moves the scoreboard. So long sprints drain willpower, so you need steady fuel. Motivation shouldn't desire work, but it can support the streak. The trick is tiny rewards tied to inputs, not revenue. When you hit 6 straight weeks of your blogs, allow a small purchase you can spend. It could be a tool upgrade or something that makes the work smoother. Early on Expiration Reminder, I didn't take money out for myself. I kept it in the business. But I allowed a small practical rewards like a device that improved my workflow. It came in moving without breaking discipline. Use pre-commitments. Put calendar invites on repeat. Tell an accountability buddy your weekly blogs and send them a Friday screenshot of your scoreboard. Do an end-to-end week check-in. Where did I hit green? Where did I go red? What's the smallest fits I'll test next week? Public or semi-public accountability increases the chance you'll show up. Keep the first sale mindset in front of you. Print it or write it on a sticky note near to your desk. First sale. Every boring rep fits the moment. The first sale is the proof your inputs map to value. The mental model matters. Boring before big is an exception. It's the rule. Protect the streak, not the mood. If you miss a day, bounce back within 24 hours. Resume, don't restart. So the core idea is simple. A boring streak wins. Structure inputs, simple metrics, and tiny rewards until compounding shows up and your message clicks. Commit to a 90-day boring streak. Set weekly blocks, Pick your 3 metrics and start the scoreboard today. Subscribe for the advanced version where I break down activation and retention tactics so trials stick. Drop a comment if your streak start date and your first tiny reward. So here's a quick plan you can start today. Weekly blogs, 2 content sessions, 1 outreach, 1 product improvement. Daily 3, 1 ship, 1 learn, 1 improve. Metrics, traffic trials, usage activation, review every Friday with a simple green or red. Rules: no 0 days, adjust inputs before idea, protect pre-commitment blocks. Rewards, week 6 and 12. Allow a small useful purchase. Tools, a notes app, a timer, your calendar. If a week breaks, bounce back within 24 hours, resume, don't restart.